The latest this morning here is it's a very busy morning here at the registration centre. If you just have a little pan around, you can see lots of people here are waiting to make their onward journeys to Poland, Germany, France, etc. People have arrived here this morning, and people are also leaving. We'll show you some of those in just a moment. It's mostly women and children because men aged 18 to 60, unless they have medical exemptions, cannot leave Ukraine. They have to stay in Ukraine and fight. So lots of women, children, quite a few dogs as well here. And here is the registration desk. This is where they come in to register, give their details over, tell the authorities what their plan is, indeed, if they have a plan. There's an English registration desk and a Ukrainian one. And you can just see some ladies there just giving in their details. And then if we just look over here, this gives you an idea of, there's, like it was at the border actually earlier that we were seeing on breakfast, there are sort of donations here, and people can, they're given sort of food, baby food, whatever they need to help them on their way. Toiletries as well over there in the corner. It's looking a little bit more organised than yesterday. I think they had a huge shipment in yesterday and they're having trouble trying to find places to keep it. And then if you need to stay overnight for one night before you then make your onward journey, there are beds through there. Around 400 beds have been set up in the sports hall, and by about 3 or 4 o'clock those beds are busy. So if we can't go in there to film, but we can just show you through the door there. There are some camp beds set up with people sleeping there for the night. They can stay here a night or two, and then they have to make their way on to other destinations in Europe where hopefully they can find a more permanent residence.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's desperate scenes. Obviously, these people have reached over. You must have heard some stories, Paul, of what people have been fleeing and just their sentiments, really, about what's going on.
Yeah, it's just heartbreaking story after heartbreaking story. What's really interesting is, and I was saying this earlier, is that, and you may hear it while we're talking to you now, there's a megaphone down, over on the desk over there. Someone will shout into it, there's a bus going to Germany in 5 minutes, or there's one going to Sweden in 10 minutes. Do you want to be on it? There's 3 places, for example. If you can fit your luggage in, if everyone can fit in those seats, do you go to Germany or do you go to Sweden? Which country are you going to go to? Do you speak the language or not? What's the deal on offer? Are you going to get accommodation? Which country would you rather go to potentially spend the next month, year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years? Life-changing decisions that you've only got a couple of minutes to make. Over in the corner yesterday, we were speaking to an elderly woman. I think she was about 86. Her name was Valentina. She was with her son and her granddaughter, and she was just about to say goodbye to them. Really, really tearful embrace as they then travel back into Ukraine, where they're going to fight, and she's carrying on her onward trip to Germany, where I think they were family friends, but it could potentially be the last time that they see each other. So that's the kind of thing you're seeing all the time here: embraces, tears, lots of great things that are going on in terms of what the Polish people are doing to help, and lots of really, really, really difficult situations for families.
Yeah, and you mentioned there lots of Polish people are helping, and of course we know that lots of people from all around the world are helping as well. Some people even travelling into Poland from other countries to help. Have you met any of those kinds of people?
Yeah, absolutely. There was one chap we were talking to on, I think it was Saturday night. He was from Lithuania. Both he and his friend were helping his brother-in-law's friend, so not a sort of friend of a friend. So they didn't really know him, but a lady and her husband and their 3 kids trying to get them across the border from Ukraine. It is a very long drive north to Lithuania. They travelled through the night. They'd come to the border. They thought that they would pick up the family and then drive all the way back to Lithuania and kind of do it almost in one go with very little sleep. Turns out the lady crossed the border to get, she came across, then she had to go back to get the kids and the husband, but she couldn't get back across. So the family was stranded on the other side. They couldn't get across, and the border staff told them that the border crossing was closed for the night. So the guys from Lithuania, basically they had to spend the night at the border crossing in their car, but they didn't care. They weren't bothered. So people are travelling from all across Europe to come here and help, and it is uplifting and it's also heartbreaking.
No, indeed, it must be Indeed, Paul. Look, thank you very much, Paul, for all of your endeavours over there. And I know it's you're in what looks like a relatively safe spot, but you're certainly a lot closer to the action than any of us here. So thank you very much for bringing us all of these reports. That's Paul Hawkins there.